Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 9 years ago, my local member of parliament, a person who has served as the prime minister of our country, said, "We just can't stop people from being homeless if that's their choice." Empathy was obviously not high as stupidity on the admission criteria for at least this Rhodes Scholar. Or did they merely make an exception? What's worse, these remarks were made at a Catholic social services conference in Melbourne. If homelessness is a choice, it seems more and more people are making it. And Greg, we might as well shut down the Chappell Foundation then. At the outset, let me tell you, this speech is well conceived. My objective is highly cynical. I am simply after your money. That was what that song was about. I will flatter, cajole, browbeat, beg. I will do anything, say anything to get it, shamelessly. Because we need your help to help those people who are increasingly making the choice to be homeless. Now, in the course of this speech, if your name is mentioned, please stand up and wave enthusiastically. Not like Fitzy's favorite monarch. Fitzy, I just mentioned your name. To start with, I would like my ministers, the TCF directors, who are backbenchers today, back in Siberia, to stand up and keep standing. Malcolm Knox, Honorary Secretary, the sage of Fairfax, and a man blessed by the goddess Saraswati. Tracy Holmes, the stalwart from the ABC, plenty of flair and great class. Ralph Hobbs, our resident creative genius. Lynn O'Brien, run a mile if you see her. She's a terrier and a terror, but massively committed. Peter Lawler, the dynamo from the Australian, a better can-do man, I don't know. Lisa Stalekar, former Australian captain and an accomplished broadcaster who organized our highly successful Sports Star sleep out at the SCG last year. Arjun Dheer, can't you see? He's Indian, so obviously an IT whiz. Veera Pool, a tenacious lady who in her previous life committed the cardinal sin of letting me into Australia 31 years ago. And Moses Hendricks, the captain of the Sydney Sixers, has given us the ask tonight in favor of playing for New South Wales in Hobart. Now, Gordon Davis is our diligent, fastidious honorary treasurer, but I haven't figured out why does he duck away to France after every major fundraiser. I must thank Stacey Garlick of the Link Group for her hard work and seamlessly helping us organize this evening. Thank you. Now, this dinner is a highly collaborative effort which these amazing people have helped put together. Mind you, by the time we finish today, they will be ready to stick pins into any voodoo doll which vaguely resembles me. Greg Chappell is, of course, the Chappell I harass most. It's thrice a day and 5 times on Sundays. Ridiculously, he still takes my calls. And answers all my texts and emails. Chappell Foundation directors, do you want to find out how he manages? We are an entirely voluntary organization where all directors do the work and donate their time. No expenses whatsoever. No office, no employees, no overheads. You will be hard placed to find a purer charity or one supported by any bigger names. Go to our brand new website. By the way, thanks Ross Gales of Poland. The website's simply brilliant, and we really appreciate the wonderful job you've done. Check out our patrons, one of whom is here, the absolutely outstanding Quasar, John Singleton. Our model certainly captured the imagination of Sue and Peter Maloney of Canberra. Stand up. I wish to embarrass both of them, Sue. They raised nearly $60,000 last year, and this year, precisely 3 weeks ago, beat that by 50% to raise a staggering sum of nearly $90,000 by hosting just one event, the Maloney's Long Lunch in Canberra. Surprisingly, despite the long lunch, most attendees left vertically and without assistance. Mind you, their wallets were considerably lighter. Thank you, Sue and Peter, for being true believers. Speaking of true believers, I should single out John McMurtry, without whom we simply would not exist. You are the rock on which our very edifice stands, John, and your substantial 5-year commitment is a gratifying vote of confidence. Your quiet philanthropy is truly inspirational, and our country is a far better place because of folks like you and Deb. Congratulations on your recent Order of Australia. Let me briefly tell you what we do and how we do it. We raise funds for organizations which are at the coalface in combating youth homelessness. You have already listened to 3 of our 4 partners, all extremely worthy organizations, who our directors chose after a thorough vetting process, multiple site visits, and discussions. Playing God is darn tough. By the way, we don't ever take a vote at our board meetings. All decisions are unanimous. If even one director has any reservation about anything under consideration, it is automatically scuppered. So Greg, if you ever want to know who to blame for any dumb idea, don't look at me. This year we have planned 3 other fundraising events. On June 22nd, we have a dinner outing at Chiswick at the Art Gallery of New South Wales, where you will be wined, dined, schmoozed, and educated in art in general and the Archibalds in particular. Then we propose to have a sports star sleep out under the stars here at the SCG on a cold wintry night, 4th of August, I think, and it is only for the brave. And on September 10, we will have our golf day at the spectacular New South Wales Golf Club, La Perouse, brilliantly organized by Michael Williams from New South Wales Golf Club, who is with us today as well. My views on a lot of social issues are quite radical. I would make Senator Doug Cameron, who I thought is here today, not only seem like a raging Tory, but to the right of Genghis Khan. There are a couple of things our country needs to do as a national emergency. Firstly, invest billions in social and affordable housing and think of it as a saving on recurring welfare and health expenses of our 120,000 plus homeless. The money is obviously there. A country which can spend $10 billion in 4 years on locking up asylum seekers indefinitely in God-forsaken places must have the political spine and morality to invest at least as much on our own asylum seekers who are cowering and huddling in streets, parks, cars, caravans, and decrepit places in front of our very eyes. We need 50,000 dwellings desperately, but we are merely adding 3,000 a year. So we need to show some serious resolve and urgency. To use a cricketing analogy, Australia are 125 for 7 in the 4th innings, chasing 689 to win. In a game situation, defeat would be certain, but hey, we are Australians. We simply do not, cannot, and must not give up in this real life game. Secondly, we need to bring forth a levy of 2% of net profit as a compulsory corporate social responsibility tax, an obligation on all commercial organizations making more than, say, $250,000 net profit. The voluntary philanthropy ethic in Australia needs a serious jolt. In the USA, 10% of those earning over $1 million did not donate a cent. And if you think that is bad, I have horrible news for you. J.B. Weir said in a research report that in 2015, 41% of Australians who earned more than $1 million did not even make a $2 tax deductible donation. Digest that. Of course, you folks here are the shining exceptions, and you won't be affected as you are obviously spending on charities, and spending well, dare I say. Stop listening to me and start furiously filling out the pledge forms on your tables. I promise you great karma. A country of 24 million people simply cannot support 56,000 charities. So there need to be minimum fundraising and administrative efficiency hoops and hurdles before any more charities are unleashed on the public, I think. We either need a moratorium on new charities and a rationalization in the sector. Choice is good and all very well, but I think our public is simply paralyzed at the assault by charities for their discretionary dollar and suffering from donor fatigue. This is probably not the place for me to pontificate further. I have told you who we are, what we do, how well we do it, and how desperate we are. Please show us that you care by paying ridiculous prices for things you don't need. Compete with friends, show off on your tables, make stupid bids for the brilliant, unique, silent auction items at the back and for the live auction items which a couple of anonymous auctioneers are about to hit you up for. Thank you very much for your patronage and support. It means the world to us.